Too many days in the darkness without a glimpse of the light. Running tired and broken and scared, but I swear I'll never give up the fight. I see you broken and beat, head pulled down over your eyes. Every part of you wants to surrender, but darling, you were meant to survive. With every start, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head. With every start, we are born again. Open your heart.
Hi everyone. Oh, it's been one of them days. Need the mic. let's just get the mic involved, shall we? God. Right. So there's not a lot to say. The only one thing is I dropped the monitor over to Nostalgia Nerd. And that was a few days ago, and so just waiting for him to. He's going to do a first impression video and then a full review late, in about a month or something like that. Yeah. Again, I'm just waiting for that. There's a Chinese holiday, so everything was ready to load up onto the container, but there's some paperwork had to be done, so it's not going to get loaded until they come back from their holiday. So they're on holiday from tomorrow until the 7th. So the first job they'll do when they come back from their holiday, they've got to load the first container load, and then that will make its way on to get here. So nothing really much else has changed. The only thing I suppose I've updated my website. If you, I got asked a lot, how do we order? So there's a button now that says pre-order, and there's another one that says how to order. So it takes you to the intro video. Done that. We've got a nice. I think some of you may have seen the thing that Phil South created for me, which is the checkmate at a glance. The idea is like just a quick single page A4 page explains the product, basically what's included, what the scalar pod has got, just those, and so you know the ports. So there's that. That's done. Paul Kitchen is doing some more graphics. You might have seen a whole load of the graphics we did, but he's also doing a new advert, so we're putting together a new advert. I've been really busy, as you can probably tell, because it was I forgot to get the mic out. To be honest, I've been talking to I don't know if he likes his name being mentioned, but I'm talking to Nostalgia Nerd anyway this evening. Usual questions, so it was like, I've got a stream, and it was 10 minutes to, and oh god, better quickly turn everything on. You'll notice, let me just get out of the way, I've had a bit of a change around, so these are my two favourite computers over there. I really like that GS, but trust me, it's not like my 1000. Okay, that 1000 is pretty amazing. But yeah, the GS is really nice. And here is my 2000 with a Pentium board in it. It's got a Pentium board in there as well. The other one is just a black monitor, which the one you can't see is a black monitor. So So yeah, things are progressing. Once they're on, well, obviously once they're on the boat, is it about 6 weeks? About 6 weeks, bobbing. And that's it. So there's not an awful lot really interesting to say. So if you've got some questions, I'm hope this is going to be Q&A. So if there's not many questions, this will be a very short stream. Yeah, questions. I might think of some stuff to say while I'm going through it. Let's have a look. What we got? Let's bring that over there. Let's put that there. So let's move this around a little bit. Okay. Hello. Ignore bingo card ready. Short one. Yeah. No dad jokes today. Actually, yeah, Happy's actually watching this. Yeah, he is. Good. Glad to see Happy in the house. Oh yeah, lots and lots of messages for Happy. That's good. But yeah, there is lots and lots of messages. Great, awesome. Crazy Happy. Oh, it's all about Happy, isn't it? Excellent. He can go through all them. I'm on the wait list, but depending on when I can order, I might have to delay because I'm acquiring an Amiga 3000. You can order whenever you like. It's people have been ordering already. It is on a waiting list. I mean, it's not a waiting list now. It is pre-order, and it is 3 to 4 months delivery. But basically, I still don't know. You know, we've got ideas that how well they sell, but we still don't know realistically. So. It's going to be, we can make 500, let's put it away, we can make 500 a month. So if we sell more than that, the waiting list might grow a bit. And that's in the early stages. So, I don't know how many it's going to sell. I mean, I'm not going to make figures up. I don't know. I know we've sold 1600 for the backers. And people are starting to order now. Again, I haven't really done any PR. This starts now, obviously. The PR will start, but we'll see. I honestly don't know. I truly don't know. I've got a lot of plans for the PR. I mean, one of the things I'm going to do is some checkmate display shorts. So basically, to go for each input and just to do a little short story about the input. You know, what you can do, what you can't do, and so on, and then do some shorts with samples of different consoles, and you know, like I've might as well say it. Apparently, and obviously we've tested the SCART on lots of devices, but Notalgia Node, he's putting a SNES into it with a SCART lead. And it's displaying, but it's got a little like a sparkle, which I've got to now order one of those, get one of them in with just to check, see if it's just a tweak of the GPS control software, because we've just literally set that the default is just literally set standard, so it might need a little bit of tweaking, but I need to get one in to have a little tweak, and if it's a little bit more than that, then I have to have a word with Happy. We'll have a look at it, but. The picture he sent looked great, but of course, as he said, there seemed to be a little bit of a sparkle on it, so we've got to have a look at that. But I'm guessing that's the kind of thing we will be doing. There'll be some that we haven't got, typical. SCART should be just SCART standard, so the display will come up, but of course it depends on the cables and that kind of thing. But we'll have a look at that, see what's going on. So I'm going to get one ordered. That gives me an excuse to buy another piece of hardware. So we get another one of them in, and I have a play with that. So has anyone got any questions? For those who might want to go to Swag's workbench, tickets likely to close about now. Hopefully I can go. Although it's in 2 weeks, 10 days, isn't it? Dave. This is why I didn't promise. We'll have to. It's getting a bit crazy at the moment. Thank you for support. Thoughts about the year. Steve kept me up to date. Yeah, good. No project here. Health comes first. Yes, he hasn't been well. He's probably playing it cool, but he's not been well. No, he's not recovered yet. He's here, but he's not recovered. Not fully recovered. Regarding the model. Okay, someone's actually asked a question. I was kind of confused regarding the models that will be able. The more thicker bezel CRT one is a work in progress version that will be released. No, that's the 17-inch version. The 17-inch version you can order. It didn't sell as many. Well, look, it was a stretch goal. It was the last stretch goal, and I said, if we got to a certain point, I'll make it. And about 20% of people said they wanted it, and then when it came to it, at the moment, it's about 3.5% of people actually want the 17, so it may well get cut short. But I've ordered about 70 odd panels, and I've made 250 front bezels and the little brackets, so we can supply them. That's fine. But there might be that once we go into distribution, I think the 17s are probably only going to be from me, because it's not. We got to think of stock control. Can't have distributors later on having to have a black, white 17, 19 be a nightmare. But so that might be special for me. What else did I get up into in China? Lots. So the China trip went well. I planned like 3 of those days was going to be. It was like 3 days of meetings, 3 or 4 days of meetings, 3 days with the assemblers to make sure everything was going well. Turned out I only needed 3 hours, and one of those hours was sorting out where we're going for lunch. So I ended up doing a couple of days shopping. Some of you may know I bought this dude. Oh, that figures. I bought this little dude, which is pretty cool. I bought a couple of robots for Alfie too. But of course there was work as well. But yeah, the assembly was going really well, so it was no problem. We actually got them to do something else. As you probably aware, there's now a headphone jack on the front in the OLED panel, and it's all wired up, and so they had to do a little mod to put that on, because we have custom cable. Basically, they had to open up the hole a little bit, drill the holes out, because it was made for a different kind of connector, but we had to swap the jack module, which was slightly bigger, so they've done that, and they're connecting it all up. So yeah, that all went really well. And so, that was a no-brainer. They've already assembled enough to ship. I think there's already 600-700 ready. So they've been getting on really well. The other trips are just basically a bit handshaking, saying loads of other supplies, that kind of thing. But one I did go and see was the a company who make Pandora boards. Some of you may be aware we're doing a custom Pandora. I'm paying to have it developed at the moment. Modifying one of theirs to fit our monitor. And they're busy doing custom software to support the resolution correctly. So they're doing that at the moment. They've got the Pandora sample that Appy made so they can play with, and they've got template designs so they can just base it on our design. But a single board, so that's good news, and it'll be like a medium tier CPU, so not a slow one, but it should be good enough for like Dreamcast. I think Dreamcast is the limit. Apparently the chip that's in the kind of sensible budget will do the bulk of Dreamcast games at 60 FPS. There is apparently a very small number that might not be full 60, but the step up to the next CPU is quite a lot of money. They're Rockwell chips as well, so they're pretty good. And so we're getting that sorted out now. I'm hoping they're going to make a board with a plug-in CPU module, so you can swap the module on the RAM. And so it's a simple thing for us to do. But you know, they're still working on that. But that was a really good meeting. And I think the Pandora, if I can get the price right, as I said, I'm trying to do it around £80. If I can get the price right, then I think that'll be really popular, because it's an ARM processor with a good GPU, and there's so much you can do with it. So I think that'd be quite good. Right, let's see if any other questions. That's what happened in China. Lots of food. Lots of great food. I found a little restaurant. I changed hotels. Stayed in the Ramada, which looked posher. That was actually quite a nice hotel. The area was better though. A lot more shops and everywhere's busy. But it was a bigger area. It's all quite big actually, but I think I put some pictures up. Wonderful. I love it out there. But I found a little local Chinese. Well, there's loads of restaurants everywhere. It's all restaurants. Eating's a big thing out there. But I found one little place. It was almost like a cafe, you know, where obviously where the Chinese go. It was like a little cafe. It was, you know, like 5-minute walk from the hotel. And I ate there nearly every night. It was great. By the end, the owner gave me a hug, and we were kind of trying to do the language. It's terrible. I'm trying to learn, but I can't learn without being immersed. And every time I go out there, everyone wants to practice their English. So no one wants to speak in Chinese to me. They all want to practice their English, but thank God for these. That helped me out no end, especially in the restaurant. But yeah, so the China trip went really well. That's what I thought too. But on the website, it showed 2 different sizes to the one of the Kickstarter. I'm confused. There's a 17 and a 19, black or white both. As I said, they'll probably end up being only from me direct. And I don't know how long for, because there's so few people want the 17. Now, that could change. But you know, that's the way it is. Both LCD panels, bigger bezel is just because it's a 17-inch. Yes. Oh, you're answering the question. Sorry, Marco. Yes, exactly the same physical size. I mean, it says it on the website. Like, you know, it's got a big picture underneath, same physical size. That is a 17 on there. So they're identical sized physically. It's just got a 17-inch panel instead of a 19-inch panel, and the bezel is thicker to make it look more retro. Question: is there any possibility of making a DIY pod with the slot connector and rear panel that can have holes cut into it so people can mount weird stuff? Right, now it's interesting you mentioned that. Not 100% sure what you mean, but basically Appy designed a prototype, a test board, and it's a skinny little board with lots of connectors, VGA, composite audio, all that kind of stuff, power, you know, and you can plug it in, and it means you can have devices in, if it'll fit inside, and you can connect up to that for experimentation. It's not really a product. But you know, we're quite happy to give designs away. So anyone wants to, we have a template board design which you can modify and tweak to your heart's content. A DIY pod, slot connector, rear panel. Yeah, I mean you'd have to make your own, but I used to 3D print mine. So, and you can always plug them in, but just stuff's hanging out the back if you want to just experiment. But yeah, I mean there'll be more on that later on. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to copy that. Hang on, bear with me a second. Bear with me, I'm just sending a message. Oh, don't be like that. I just want to send this over to, Oh, come on, this is really annoying. Right, let's try that. Yes. Yeah. Right, answered that question. So, thank Alex. Thanks for that. That's interesting. Again, it's one of those things where I can't have every device, so we're kind of hoping that people lock to the SCART spec. And I mean, Appy's probably looking at this going, what? I'm ordering one, Appy. Okay. I'm going to get one on order, and then we'll get the cables, and we'll just see, and then we'll see what's going on, because the picture on a photograph looked fine, but he said it's just a little bit of a sparkle, so that makes sense if there's a voltage issue. 17 has high DPI for obvious reasons. Well, yes, but it's the same resolution. Yes, same number of pixels, smaller physical size. Yep. I think there's also several chip variations that could behave differently. Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to hit these things. We're just hoping that we've got it. I'm hoping it might be something we can tweak in the GPS control, because I've done no profiles. This is bog standard profile I've given him. So it might be something we can tweak. But if it's a voltage thing, then that's a bit more tricky. But I'm going to get some cables and test that. You might already answered the previous. Is the monitor compatible with the 64 Maxi and the... Right, story time. It's compatible. You plug it in, it works. The problem is, and I've emailed about this, and they blanked me, right? Because obviously I'm not important enough, because they're really big business, right? So basically, they've designed it, understandably, for 16:9 display, 1080p. You put it in the monitor squishes it. Okay, that's all right, except... the way when you play the game, it's kind of squished it. The 4-3 or 5-4 game is squished. They don't seem to want to modify it to work on a 1280 1024. Now, I've not shipped any yet, so they're not getting all the emails. Yeah, hopefully they will soon. Now, I will say, Amiga kit, the little 600 GS, they fixed it within a week. Works fantastic. And you've got Workbench, right? You've got the Workbench. It is really good. So all those people have moaned about it. They jumped on it, and they fixed it. Andy, I can't remember his surname, but he's the guy who plays guitar. He within a week he'd had it fixed, and when I went to Kickstart 2, he turned up and he just upgraded it for me. Downloaded the latest version, worked perfectly. So the 600 GS works great. The Amiga 500 Mini looks pretty, but it stays in the box. I really like the retro data sheet. Yeah, it does look good, doesn't it? It does. It looks really retro, and that was what he was aiming to reproduce, because it's kind of, it just looks it, and I was really pleased with it. George, too many options is why the fashion industry is hard to be in. Computer hardware is bad enough. Any chance of ordering an extra 17-inch front bezel for colour matching to blend with a particular system? Not quite sure what you mean. An extra 17-inch bezel. Maybe. Because I've only made 250 bezels, which I've got loads. If you've ordered a monitor, and if you've ordered a 17-inch monitor, add the note to the order. I'm not making any promises, no promises, right? But add the note to the order to say, if you've got one free, can I have a spare bezel? Because they're not cheap to make. Well, that's not true. They're, but you don't want to send it separately, because it's quite be a big thing to send. So, but I don't know if it'll go in the box. So I'll give you an example. If you've bought the monitor and the bag, there might be room for me to put it in. Yeah, to have space to. Yeah, but it might be tricky. I might not be able to send it to you because the way the package is designed, it's not designed, because they are quite thick, so it might not go in. So I don't know. If possible, I'll look into it, but not guaranteed. Hi, Paul. Paul Kitchen. Oh, I hate that when it does that. Team, congrats first on making this amazing product. How can we know our position in the queue? Get your invoice number, not your order number. Get your invoice number. Deduct 3,000-ish. It's about 3,100 or something like that. Deduct that. That's pretty much your place in the queue. What is the best meal you had in China? Oh God. Okay. Every meal was good. What was my favorite? The little I had a sea bass, and they also did a really nice. They put a lot of chili in. I mean, I'm not too bad with chili, but they. I had a number of ones. I think there's. Oh, here goes the camera. Don't worry. No, I'm not gone. I think the sea bass was probably my favourite. I'll tell you what. While I'm just talking, why don't we just go there? I could turn it up really, because that is my Amiga. Hang on, I'll turn it up now. I'm going to make that a bit bright. There you go. Right, now it's a bit too bright on the screen here, but it turns the brightness up. So still not quite normal brightness, but you can see there's my Amiga. That's my 1000. That is with a vampire. I did consider putting in PyStorm, but to be honest, I put that Vampire V2 in it, and I love it. It's just absolutely brilliant. It is really good. What was the question? I've done the position in the queue. What was it? Oh, best meal? Yeah, probably the sea bass, which is really nice. But most of the meals are nice because I like Chinese food. So when I will get to the airport, although it's become a tradition now when I get back to the airport, there's no Chinese restaurant in the lobby where So where I go for my gate, there's no Chinese, but there is a Japanese restaurant, so I end up having a Japanese meal. But yeah, the food's lovely out there. 2 chipsets. Lots of people want the 1 chips nest, which supposedly have better RGB out. Oh, okay. Does the SCART on the scaler take composite? Yes. I'm surprised Appy didn't dive into that. Yes, because we added it. So if you've got the SCART, if you've got RGB and SCART, or if you've just got if you've got RGB, you can see that on the VGA button. If you're going to want to see the SCART, it's AV3 or AV4, depending on what the switch is on the scaler, because there's a switch. So technically, there's 4 composite inputs supported. 2 of them on the main slot 0, and then 2 floaters, and they're on the back plane. So that's quite handy. So if you've got SCART, you've got composite on that. But if you've got another board that's plugging in with composite for some reason, or you want to do something, you've got that there as well, hence the switch. It's a really clever little thing that Appy got working. On the SCART side, does it take the Japanese format? So basically what it will take is, and again this is documented, but it will take PAL, PAL-M, PAL-N, CCAM, and NTSC. Oh, hang on, no, that's RF. What am I talking about? Damn, that's RF. What am I talking about? Sorry, ignore that. Pretend I didn't say that. That was the RF. I think it should, but we're gonna. This is one of those things where I don't have any Japanese hardware. I'm pretty sure it should, but we'll see. Because all the ones we get are PAL or NTSC, and they work. So if it's, I think Japanese is NTSC. I think they use NTSC, so it should in theory work. But again, I'm not in Japan. I haven't tried it with Japanese hardware. So again, yes, to be fair, I think I've only shipped about 2 to Japan. But yeah, we don't. Again, this is that thing where we don't have all the consoles. But as something doesn't work, you know, I'm ordering, like I've mentioned the SNES. We got an issue with the SNES. I'm ordering one. So I'm just waiting for the guys to come back to me. Yes, answer a question. And then I'm going to order that with the SCART lead so we can test it, find out what it is, see if it's just to modify the GBS control, or if it's something a bit more than that. Maybe it is the voltage. If it's the voltage, we'll check that. But we'll have to look. If it works with API C128, does that give a good chance that it'll work with mine as well? Yeah, should do. He designed it for the C128, and we tried it on 2 of them. So, yeah, it should be fine. And it's CGA and EGA, obviously. Now, on EGA, it's 200 line EGA. It can't do 350. Okay. Andy Broad, that's it. Yeah, he's a nice bloke, and he just literally, when I mentioned it, he dived straight on it and sorted it. So well placed. At the moment, whilst in recovery, I'm working on paperwork. There's not enough energy yet. Yeah, so I'm reading it. Plus, Steve and I are working on getting it officially. Yeah. So Happy's retro. I added some stuff to my original order, and there's extra shipping fee on one of them. Is it going to be converted to stock? No. I keep telling everyone, if you add something to the order, email me the order number. I remove the shipping or switch it to bundle, and then you pay then. It even says it on the order. So I mean, look. Yeah. Yeah, famous. I hate the way this jumps. Yes. If the former he means the connector SCART JP21 are the same connector but wired differently, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, there's something we're gonna probably have to look into. Japanese format SCART equals RGBS, but there you go, Happy. Maybe we'll have to get a Japanese one. And FM towns to test. Japanese NTSC is just a tad bit different. Okay. I don't, again, well, you lot might be able to point me to, I don't know, an FM towns is probably going to cost more than my motorbike. So get me, if you guys can point me to, look on eBay, point me to something that I can get, that I can plug in the UK and test. I'm happy to do that, because obviously, but we can't get everything. This is the problem. You've seen the chart. I've got loads of kit, but of course it's European, and I've got American stuff as well. But it's European and American kind of signal formats that we've got. Japanese haven't got. JP SCART probably needs a converter. Yeah. I mean, it's probably the case. I mean, it's a European one, so. Right. Any more questions? What is that? It's our past. Look at that. There's not an awful lot more I can really say. Let's come off of here. Oh, that's boring. If you've got any more questions, chuck them in. But at the moment, I'm now kind of struggling things to say. And I'll probably want to go and see my wife. The reason why I paid extra fee was because I was testing for you. I even wrote you an email message. Oh, okay. It's probably just all right. I'll have a look for the email chain. But the trouble is, I've got so many people on the system. 1,360. So I get an awful lot of messages, and I get them all confused. So send it over, and I'll have a look at it. Any news about the Amiga pod? It's awesome. That's about as far as I'm going to go with it. It works in... Well, I've got 2 working ones. Appy's got a working one. The reality is, with that, because obviously Appy's been very unwell, it's still... We're waiting for Claude to finish his camera RGB input thing that puts that on there. Once that's done and locked down. We're going to want to add that to the board, and then we can consider releasing it. It works great, it looks fantastic, but it's, you know, with Appy not being well, it's like it's shelved, and it might end up being that Ranko ends up, because he always said he was, you know, probably create one. We'll have to wait and see. Never the same. Any news about? Yeah, I've answered that. So I've got one working. I've got two actually. One with the PyStorm, one without. They both work great. They can still be a little bit, occasionally a little bit twitchy. They work once they're plugged in. So we've, you know, I wouldn't call it the finished article. Well, it's not the finished article yet. It just works. As soon as you got it in, it's up. It works great. But we've had some. I don't know if it's something to do with the firmware. We're having the little problems. We've got a nail, and that might involve Ranko doing that. And yes, NTSC not quite the same standing. Never the same colour. There was an Arcuda from, I believe. What's the status on the Arcuda stuff? Well, the Arcuda stuff, I mean, I was talking to Steve. In fact, we've got to arrange. I'm trying to arrange a video call, which I'm going to film, edit, get us to agree on it, then share. But the bottom line is this, that they are working on it, but every time they get a panel they think is going to do it, the military buy them all. So there's a problem at the moment. This format of panels for the high-end ones are used by the military, and they have no qualms paying $700, $800 for the panel, and they buy them all. So it's not just a case of the technical side of it, it's a case of finding a supply that they can use, and so it's actually a bit of a nightmare at the moment. So they're working hard on it, but it's, you know, when they've got one, it'll be one of those things, possibly, that when they go, right, we got some and it's ready, buy it quick, yeah, and then you'd have to grab it really quick. But I think they're going to be quite expensive. But we'll try and flesh that out a little bit more later on. So it's not as simple as going, make it so. Not as simple. Yes, a good place to buy Japanese hardware. Good place to buy Japanese hardware. Talk to them and get a deal. Yeah, who's? Oh, Jen. I'm gonna lose that. Could you email me that, Alex? £49 tested Super Famicom Jap SNES. I've got to get a PAL one first. What resolution is the Arcuda? You're asking questions that we haven't decided yet. I mean, probably going to be 1600 by 1200. But I'm not guaranteeing that until it depends on can I get the panels. That's the issue, is getting them. So until we've got a supply that's okay and we can use, the board's not really that much of a problem. They can sort the board out, but again, they need to know which panels and which connection they're going to go before they do the, you know. So it's actually turned out to be a lot harder than this bit. This bit's been a lot easier. Right. Anything else? Oh. Oh, that's interesting. Auto adjustment fixed it. Hang on, I'm just quickly looking at something. So I've got Peter on the line here, and he's like just answering questions. Yeah. So, is there any more questions? If not, I'm going to call it a day because been a long day, and I've got to go out tomorrow. I've got to build some cases to send to people. Anyway, so all the backers, thank you. Right. All the backers who paid, really, thank you. The ones who haven't paid, could you pay? It's only a couple of hundred now, so that's all right. And we've got other people coming in. and pre-ordering. But again, I'll let you know. I'll let you know when. Oh, CDI is working. That's good. I'll let you know when. The Nostalgia Nerd video it's not a full review. This is this is first impressions. Yeah. So he did an interview with me, the usual thing when I was there. We went through it. He was really into RF. He really liked the RF. At first, we was having problems getting it because it's one of those things. It's like you need a good encoder for RF. But once we got hold the cable in the air, it's like the old days. And then we got, stay there. It was perfect. Right, and then we filming it, and he went upstairs and got on that one. I went, hang on, how long am I standing here for? Anyway, I'm gonna go. Oh, that's interesting. So the SNES is working now. That's good. Right, I'm gonna go. Thank you very much for being here. It's the usual 100 odd people. It's like, again, it wasn't. That's why I like doing these, because you ask me questions, I answer the questions. Makes life a lot easier. No beer. I'm still off the beer. I'm back on the beer on this December, my 23rd of. I'm gonna have another beer on my birthday. So yeah. I haven't even noticed it, to be honest. But anyway, look, that's it. I'm gonna go and spend some time with my gorgeous wife. And so I expect things to get live. Well, in about 6 weeks, things to get really lively. Yeah, thanks very much. I'm gonna go. I've got to remember how to turn this off. Hang on. Let's move that down there. Right, I'm gonna end the stream in 5, 4